If there's one thing I could teach my younger self, that would be to learn emotional intelligence and actually learn to feel your feelings and especially to let go of negative feelings. Once I've started to understand the importance of feelings, it blows my mind how much negative feelings have ruled my life and how much we are afraid of feeling some kind of feeling. Imagine this: you are afraid to do something. You think that it's the external action that you are afraid of. But when you go deeper, you realize that you're not afraid of the action because that's just an objective thing that you do. You are afraid of how you feel if you fail in that action or if you mess up that action in some weird way. You might feel shamed or you have some kind of fear. And this changes the game because you realize that it's not the things that you are afraid of, it's the feelings you are afraid of. And even if we want to take this deeper, it's like you're not afraid of someone dying. You're afraid of how that will make you feel if a loved one or a dog or something dies. And that's when I realized that the path to freedom, the path to peace in life is by learning to feel and let go of feeling, to not attach to those feelings. And if you don't have a fear of feeling a certain emotion, you're not afraid of doing things. You're not afraid of public speaking. You're not afraid of meeting certain people because you understand that, oh, there might be a fear. So what? Okay, I might feel ashamed. I might be stressed. I might be awkward. It's okay. And this is how you free yourself. And I know it seems really easy in your mind, and it's like, yeah, okay, I understand it. But the real work is when you actually go out in the field, in life, these situations and events that happens, and you actually have to face those things. You have to face those feelings. The problem is that most of us have had fucked up childhoods and all kinds of drama and trauma and all these negative events, that we have suppressed so many negative feelings that our capacity to feel them is just tiny. And that's why we get overwhelmed, we get anxious, we get just blown up in our head because we are so afraid of the feeling because we already have so much of the shit inside of us. And most of our negative feelings, emotions are stored in our body. And until we get out of the head and into the body, actually feel and release them, they won't go away. So, how do you get out of your head and into your body? That's the challenge. But once you know the challenge, it will start to somehow solve itself. And this is where your mind will start to help you, because once the mind knows the mission, it will start to process the problem. Because our brain, our mind, that's a problem solving machine. But if we don't know that we have stored negative emotions, we will never start to solve that problem. And one really good way that I've found is that when you set the intention to find a specific emotion, let's take shame. That's one of the lowest emotions. That's like the most low vibe you can be, and that's the most survival mode we can be in as humans. So let's recap in our mind. Okay, I felt shame when I was a kid and someone bullied me, or I didn't succeed in something, or whatever the situation is. And then you go into the shame. And sometimes you just have to trigger yourself, and it may happen just by remembering things, and you can start to actually be like, okay, I'm ready, I'm gonna be brave, I'm gonna sit with this shame, I'm gonna just indulge myself in it. And then you start to accept and let go. You just sit with it and be like, oh, it's fine, I feel so ashamed. And there might be resistance, it might be really difficult. Another thing that I found out is that if you do this when you're in the shower is kind of a safe space, and it also it washes away things. And what I found is if I go in the shower and I try to set myself into these negative emotions and feel them, the water starts to kind of drain them, and it feels easier to let go of these difficult emotions. And the more I let go, the more space I create inside of me. It's kind of like you can imagine that you have a really hard and closed heart. And every time you accept and you feel these negative emotions, it softens a little bit. And that has become my visual, and my mantra is to soften. And the more you can soften, the more you can feel. The more you can feel, the more you can let go. And when you let go of the negative feelings, you create space for positive feelings. Our natural state is peace and positivity. But if we have so much negative things going on, we can't do it. And the negativity is blocking our natural joy. Like small babies, they're joyous and then they get hungry and they're like, I need something. But they don't suppress their anger, they let it out, they feel it, and then they get the food and they're happy again. And it's like, cool. So the problem is never the negative emotions. The problem is the resistance to negative emotions. And as long as we are in a negative state, in a survival state, we aren't able to change. There's so much tension that we can't program our subconscious mind. We can't program our belief system because it's locked. It's this kind of hard thing. And also the society and the world that we live in, and especially here in Finland, it was taught that you need to be hard. It's like the Russians might come and there might be a war. You need to be hard and you need to be tough. I'm so done with that. At the moment, I'm more about, oh, let's soften. Let's open the heart. Let's soften the heart. Let's feel. Let's create space. Let's just be. And that's how we change the world. I totally know. It's not that I even believe it. I know that the more people will soften and let go of this hard shell and just be and feel and accept, the better this world is going to be. A simple thing you can do is that you can start journaling about negative feelings and feelings that you try to avoid, because most of us try to avoid negative feelings because of fear. We are afraid of actually feeling. We might be afraid of fear itself. And it's kind of this weird paradox going on. And once we realize this, we can start using our mind to actually crack open these negative things that is actually just hindering us from feeling better and hindering us from living a better life. During the past year, I've been going deep into my own feelings and my own shadows and actually sitting with them. If I have a day when everything feels shit and I feel worthless and I feel guilty or I feel ashamed, I don't try to change it. I try to sit with it. I try to feel it. I try to understand it. And then I can let go of it. And I've created so much space, so much more peace, so much less fear in my whole being that it's just amazing. And as I said, if I can teach one thing to my younger self, that would be how to feel and how to process emotions, create space, and that way, more internal freedom. And also, it's not about cracking the whole thing open in one sitting and think that you're healed and you have all your negative emotions just burst out. It's more about tiny wins. And those tiny wins in a month or in a year or in 3 years, you will look back and you're like, wow, I'm so glad I opened myself up to feeling and not being afraid of feeling. Suppressed emotions. That's the core reason for a lot of physical health problems, mental health problems. Most problems come from suppressed negative emotions. And that's not cool. It's way more cooler to be soft, not hard. We've seen the hard world. It doesn't work that well. It's just some people who win and the other people lose. What if we all just soften up? I know that that's the path of the future, and I can't change anyone else. I can just share my experience and hope for the best. That being said, it's gonna be it for today's video. My name is Mitz, your future purpose, here to help you live a better life that looks exactly how you want it to look. Peace out.